I'm Sally Stanton and welcome to Snacks and Suitcases, the podcast packed with tips, tricks and real-life stories to make travelling with kids of all ages a whole lot easier and way more fun. Today, I'm joined by BeautiKate founder Sigourney Cantelo for a glamorous but honest chat about beauty, wellness and how travel changes after kids.
Mom, can I pack all my teddies?
Okay, let's get started. From interviewing Rihanna in Barbados and Lady Gaga in New York to launching one of Australia's first beauty and wellness platforms, today's guest has had a career that's anything but ordinary. Sigourney Cantelo is the founder of BeautiKate, host of the Beautiful Inside podcast, former beauty and health director of Vogue Australia, and a mum of two who has travelled the world while navigating business, burnout, beauty and family life. In this episode, Sigourney shares stories from glamorous international work trips, travelling Europe with babies in tow, building a brand while raising children, and the mental health journey that completely changed the way she lives, parents, and travels today. Now, I'm not going to lie, I went into this chat expecting luxury hotels, spa menus, and maybe a few glamorous Ibiza stories. And while there's definitely a little of that, Sigourney did Ibiza with a baby. Sigourney's idea of luxury has shifted over the years, much like so many mums. These days, it's less city hopping and beach clubs and more nature, slower travel, and finding beauty in the great outdoors, something that seems to come up time and time again on this podcast. Of course, with a former Vogue beauty editor on the mic, at my fingertips, we also dive into the fun stuff too, from her favourite travel beauty products and sunscreens for both adults and kids to the little wellness rituals she packs into life on the road. There's no way I was leaving out these golden elixirs. This one's a little aspirational mixed in with a real-life honest mum chat. Sigourney, you may not remember this. In fact, I'm pretty sure you don't, but I met you many moons ago in Paddington, sitting around a boardroom talking about some community TV show that we were trying to get started. And
wow.
I remember we were kind of all getting to know each other and you said, my mum's a TV producer in LA. And I was like, oh my goodness, this girl is the real deal. And then we all kind of dissipated, went our separate ways. I do not know what happened with that community show.
What was the show? Do you remember what it was called?
I'm not 100% sure if it was the movie, not the movie show, that's what we called it, or EWTV, which stood for Entertainment Weekly
Entertainment
TV.
Weekly. It was EWTV. I remember. Yes. Didn't we do a pilot of that or something?
Well, yeah, I actually did. I did a few episodes, but you weren't there. And I was like, what happened to Sigourney? This is before social media. We were so young. We were babies.
I know. Yeah, I think we were. That is so funny. Yes, Mum was a TV presenter in LA back then. And so I must have been about 20 or something. We would have been about 20 or...
Yes, yeah. So I think I just finished uni. So I remember that, I went off and worked in kids television and then I started to see your name pop up in none other than Vogue magazine.
Many years later, yeah.
Yeah, and you went on to become the director of beauty and health at Vogue Australia. Wow.
Yeah, it was a pretty plum job, a pretty good job. Yeah, it was fun.
Did you always want to have a career in beauty?
I didn't know that beauty editing existed. Like most of us back then, it wasn't like, now like beauty editor is a thing. But when we were at school, it wasn't a pathway or I wasn't aware that it existed. So I knew that I liked words and pictures. I pursued an advertising path at first. I went and did awards school with News Limited and it was a real boys club. Like I was one of the only girls and I felt like it was just, knew I'd have to change in essence who I was. Like I didn't think I was strong enough to deal with those boys, like it was a real, so I actually went into magazines and And that was much more comfortable for me.
Yeah,
and
what a change.
Yeah.
Boys club to girls club.
Exactly. It was like a big sleepover. But I remember I started at TV Week magazine. Oh, no, I started at Our House magazine in interiors, which was great. And then went into Qantas magazine. So I did a bit of travel way back then. I mean, not that I was traveling, but I started like looking, like I was, reading a lot of the travel articles, and I was working on I was the editorial coordinator. And so, but that was when my editor, Charlie Lockhart, she was very fabulous. She'd been the editor of Gourmet Traveller, and she came across to Qantas magazine, and she would be too busy to attend beauty events. So she started sending me out to go to beauty events. And that was when I was like, wow, what is this world? And then one of my friends, I mean, we were 18. We were working at ACP magazines back then.
Yeah.
And I mean, like everybody else was so much older than us. We were fresh out of school. I had taken a couple of gap years to just work in the industry before going back to uni. So I literally was fresh out of high school, and I'd done this award school, then straight into magazines. And my friend Susie worked at Woman's Day, and I remember her saying, come into the beauty cupboard and pick some things. And I was like, beauty cupboard? What's a beauty cupboard? And then she opened this door and it was a whole room, and all the shelves were lined with beauty products. And I'd always liked beauty, like having mum in a TV. She'd come home from work and she'd have all the latest like makeup tips from the makeup artists that did her makeup. So I'd grown up around sort of TV and makeup artistry and all that kind of thing, but I'd never seen anything like this. It was like the Aladdin's cave of jewels and just, and she's like, she pulled out this tub and she's like, just take whatever you want. And she gave me a bag, and I was like, oh, and that was my first introduction to what a beauty editor was. And she was like, oh, that's just Mary's stuff. She doesn't care. And I was like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, just fill your bag up. So I took a bag of stuff home, and I was like, oh, this is incredible. What is this job? A beauty editor. I need to become one immediately.
So after you reached the height of heights with Vogue Australia, you went out, you ventured on your own and started your own successful website called BeautiKate, which you are the founder of. You've put it all together yourself. You still have today. Plus, you host a podcast called Beautiful Inside. You're behind the mic there, a little bit different today, being interviewed.
Yeah, this is fun.
For those who don't know, tell us more about that.
Well, I was working at Vogue. I'd been there for 6 years. I was seeing what was happening in the world of digital, and I could see that there was, there were these very cool like blogs and things starting, but nothing by a beauty journalist. And so I wanted to create a website that was really credible. So it was beauty plus educate, BeautiKate. And we went into the homes of like industry women and fabulous people, and we shot everything they used to beautify and their wellness routine back before wellness was really a thing. But we'd be like, what's in your pantry? And, what exercise do you do? And so we interviewed amazing people back then. And then that was 12 years ago that I started it.
I feel like you were like one of the first big websites.
Yeah.
I guess everyone started blogging back then.
That's right. Yeah. And I think that was my point of difference was, when I launched it at Vogue, my editor was relaxed. Like I said, can I do a website? She's like, yeah. Back then they didn't take digital very seriously. And the Vogue website, for example, was just like, everyone ignored it. It was like this thing we had to do to tick a box, but no one put any money into it. And so I used to say to my editor, we think we should do a YouTube channel, and we should be doing all this like digital. And they didn't want to invest in it. So I remember thinking I should do this myself, because this is where it's heading. And I wanted to do TV because, as I said, I'd grown up watching Mum do it. And that's why we met in the TV sphere, because we were both interested in doing, presenting and that kind of thing. And so I thought I can just do this on my own. And then when I launched, I got pulled into HR, and they were like, what's this? And I said, Edwina said I could do it. It's, all approved. And they were like, well, we think it's, potentially competitive to Vogue, and you mustn't take any revenue. You can't commercialize this. And I was like, oh, no, sure. Okay. And I was like, whoa, like I would never have thought that they would be, considering this as a competition.
Threatened.
Yeah. So I was then I had to sign this thing saying that everything I put on BeautiKate, I'd have to get approved through Edwina. Very quickly, I decided to just go out on my own. And I knew that I had at least a handful of advertisers who would want to work with me. So it was right from the beginning, it was very scary. I think everyone thought I was mad to leave Vogue, but I was lucky enough to have a few advertisers at least to keep me going. Yes. And the podcast, it was more of an evolution of that. So I noticed that, like everyone was saying, you need to do a podcast. And I was a bit slow to the podcast party, actually. I launched almost 2 years ago, 18 months ago.
Same.
And yeah, I know. I don't know why, but I just wanted to see how it would all pan out and what it was like. But we were going into people's homes anyway, right, shooting them. And I thought, well, we may as well sit down and have a conversation. So that's the difference is we actually go into people's homes generally. I don't do a lot of digital podcasts. I go in, I bring my phone, my ring light, my mics, we do it all and we get these really intimate chats. And Beautiful Inside is really about mental health. It's about the struggle within inner and outer beauty and wellness as well.
Well, you've definitely scored some enviable interviews. Celeste Barber, that was awesome, that one.
Oh, thank you.
Trini Woodall.
She's epic.
Miranda Kerr.
Yeah, that was definitely a highlight because I flew to LA to do that. And I brought Mum with me actually to help because it was a big one, and I had to sign an NDA and it was in the home that she shares with Evan Spiegel. We did COVID tests at the door. It was very but amazing. And she was so warm and so honest. I think, one of the best interviews I've seen her do. She was, because we've known each other for many years. I'd interviewed her at Vogue several times and I'd interviewed her for BeautiKate. So there was a lot of kind of rapport and I think, being in her home made it feel so intimate and amazing.
Has anyone else been really surprising?
Well, Lindsay Price from Lipstick Jungle, the actress, she was beautiful.
Yes, married to the chef Curtis Stone.
Exactly. Yeah. She is just a dream woman. She's just so kind and gorgeous and beautiful. And being in her home was just, she has these massive dogs, huge poodles and groodles or something, golden doodles. We were laughing about their names and two beautiful boys. And she showed me her home sauna and her little bouncy trampoline where she does her rebounding, like
a mini tramp.
Yeah, that you can have a small tramp
from the 80s.
Yeah.
So BeautiKate also encompasses health, wellness, and travel goes hand in hand with all those things. What do you prefer, writing the beauty stories or the travel stories?
Oh, the travel. Shh. I mean, I've been writing about beauty for 25 years. So I think, I just love how immersive travel writing is. You're writing about the smells and the textures and the food and, the culture. And travel writing is just the best.
And you write so well, Sigourney. I love reading those articles.
You're so kind. Thank you.
I just feel like I'm there in these day spas and everywhere you go. I just love it. So everyone has to head to BeautiKate and read everything on the website.
Oh, you're so kind, Sal. Thank you. No, I think that's the most fun kind of writing, isn't it?
Yeah,
when
it
you
is.
can really try and transport the reader to a place.
Yes. And your brand is very aspirational. Am I safe to say that you love a bit of luxury? Luxury is your thing?
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? At the same time, I think luxury is taking on a new meaning for me. Of course, I love a beautiful hotel room or a beautiful house, Airbnb house, and you can kind of pretend for a minute that you live in this place, But I think luxury now is time and it's wellness and it's space and it's taking a step back from the humdrum of reality and the hamster wheel that is running your own business and having kids. And that's, for me, true luxury. And also the people that you surround yourself with. So being able to bring the kids on a trip for me is the best thing ever because I'm we're in a different place. We stop, at home, we're all in the routine. We're doing the washing. The kids have got sports. You don't actually stop and talk to each other properly.
No, you don't.
Whereas when you're on holidays, you have those meals or you have those moments that are just so special.
Now you have two beautiful children, Max, who's 14, and Luella, who's 10. But paint a picture of Sigourney traveling pre-kids. What was that like for you?
It was all about work because I was working, as I mentioned, at Vogue, and I would always do these incredible trips. I interviewed Lady Gaga in New York and Rihanna in Barbados. MAC, for example, Cosmetics would fly me to New York and Cyndi Lauper. So we went to Milk Studios and interviewed the two of those ladies for a campaign. That was my first big trip, and I remember just being blown away by just the magnitude of just how epic and fashionable everything was, being in that studio. Milk Studios is very famous because the milk brand, the makeup brand, came out of Milk Studios.
Oh, did it? Okay, yes. I have a milk primer.
It's the best primer, the Hydro Grip primer. And then, Barbados for Rihanna. And then, Paris Fashion Week with Chanel. So I was always on the road, and sometimes I could tack on a couple of days. Like I'd often catch up with my best friend from London in Paris. She'd get the Eurostar over, and we'd have a couple of days in Paris and just do fun things. And I think back, like those times were the best, but it was always highly stressful because I'm an anxious. I've since found out I've got ADHD as well, or ADD. So I've always been super like type A, high achiever, but also very stressed and anxious. So I remember I would just not sleep, and I'd be like writing stories on the plane and just high energy, high intensity. But the trips were epic, but they were surrounded by, this kind of frenetic energy and, the jet lag and the wanting to file the stories and the stories to be really good and the questions to be really good. And so it was a lot.
I did a little bit of that sort of thing when I worked on a kids show.
Yes.
Didn't get to meet Rihanna in Barbados, but met the Joe Bros in New York.
Well, that's still fabulous and exciting.
They used to send us on these junkets, right? Like 2 days to LA, 2 days to New York.
Yes.
I don't know if they do that much anymore, but we had the good times.
Well, the TikTok stars go,
they're the ones who go now. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I remember I barely slept on any of those trips, and I don't know how I got through them. I really have no idea.
Well, no sleep used to be a badge of honour. No, we've only recently learnt how important sleep is. We'd be like, I sleep 5 hours a night. It was like this kind of thing that, corporate people and execs and stuff did. But now we know the damage that it did, and how many years have we aged because of all our frenetic travel, I wonder.
Oh my gosh, I was going to say every wrinkle on my face is from not sleeping.
Yeah.
I know it
Same.
is, because then after kids are born, you don't sleep for a different reason.
Correct.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And your daughter wasn't a sleeper. My son was not great. Yeah. Breastfeeding was a nightmare. Yeah. It was all, it just throws you, doesn't it? Like years of less sleep and, being woken up in the middle of the night.
How did travel change for you once kids came along? Do you remember your first trip with your kids?
I do, actually. I was just looking back on it. So when the first big one, like we did a few little ones to Hayman Island and, whatever, up to Port Douglas. But then when Max was about 5 and Lulu was, 1, it was before, you want to do that overseas trip before the baby becomes a real person and has to have an airfare,
Yes,
so
yes.
Yes. So you kind of do as much, like we tried to do as much travel in that first year as possible. And I was determined not to stop traveling just because I had 2 kids and, one was a baby. But it was like crazy what I had to do. Like I was still sterilizing bottles, and we went to Europe. So we went to London, and the only reason we did, Damo had a business back then, a pet tracking device business.
Oh,
He's always had he's always been very
great.
entrepreneurial. Yeah, it was a GPS tracking device for pets, and we were looking at moving to Europe, and we were thinking about it. So he had all these meetings around Europe. So we packed up the kids and we're like, we'll just see how it feels and go over there. But we had to do it on the cheap because, he had his own business, and I was on BeautiKate at that stage. Yeah. So we both had our own businesses. We weren't, doing, so we stayed with friends where we could. We were in Airbnbs. One of my best friends lives in Ibiza, and she was like, come and stay in my apartment. So we were like, sure. We wanted to go somewhere beachy and tropical, like hot. So we went to Ibiza with a baby and Max, and I had to hire like a baby capsule, and I was still giving her purees. But I remember like my tip was, try and get an apartment, or, try and find an Airbnb, because you can't do that stuff in a hotel room, like unless you're paying for,
Most people go to Fiji or, where there's a kids club, but you decided to go to an island infamous for clubbing.
I know, ridiculous. We did not do any clubbing. Well, we went to a day club. We went to a couple of day clubs, and they're cool because they have kids clubs in the day clubs. So you just drop the kids. Yes, you drop the kids off, and they're like making macaroni necklaces, and you're out on the day beds having rosé and grilled prawns. It was beautiful. Like, you can do it. There's a quieter side to the island.
They know there's a market there, that's for sure.
They do. They know that a lot of young families are still up for...
I've never been to Ibiza.
Oh, well,
never. But my friend just went for her 50th, and then, so that's like she's on the other end of it. She got the kids are grown up, off she's gone.
Yeah.
I know it's super expensive. It's like 20 euros for water or something.
Correct. Yeah. When we went, it was only 10 euros, but now everything's so much more expensive. So I think, I never really liked the super clubs. Like, they're too intense for me. I find that like hectic, and all the crowds and the bodies and the lights. It's just sensory overload. But I love the day clubs. Like, it's just like the music, the chilled music on a white sun lounger, and the rosé and the sunsets over the beach. They have some cool clubs like, Cafe Del Mar, where the sun just melts into the ocean, and yeah.
So that's not just the name of an album. That's a real place.
It's a real place. It is.
So your kids, how old were they?
Max was like probably 5. I remember he'd just started kindy. So we ripped him out of school for, I don't know, it was a couple of weeks.
I'd love to hear that conversation. We're just taking our son to Ibiza.
London. We went to London, Ibiza, and then actually I had another old friend there, and she was so kind. We went to visit her in Ireland, and we didn't know what we would do at this stage, but she's like, leave the kids with me and you and Damo, because Damo had to go to Milan and somewhere else in Spain. And so we left the kids. They were so, because they had 2 kids themselves. So we left the kids with our friends for like 4 or 5 days, and we went quickly to Milan and then somewhere in Spain, and I've just forgotten what it was, and Germany, Munich. We went to Munich, Milan, Munich, and
in 5 days.
In 5 days, yeah, Milan, Munich, and somewhere maybe we didn't do Spain. Maybe it was just Milan and Munich. Anyways, nuts, but it was so crazy.
I bet you had to take advantage of that. Yeah, that time.
Yeah, it was fun having no kids for 5 minutes.
Oh, so your daughter was just a little baby. Max was 5.
A baby, yeah. They went to day clubs. I remember when we went to London, because we had like a good couple, like 10 days or something in London. I went on these Facebook groups and found nannies, and that was quite a good way to do it, because I had to do some beauty articles and shoots and stuff while I was in London. So I managed to find a couple of nannies to come and help, and we were staying with my best friend her mum's got an apartment in Chelsea. So we were in this tiny apartment, it was a 1-bedroom, the kids were on the couch. We bought this blow-up bed for Lulu. There was like a Peppa Pig blow-up bed, and everywhere we went, we'd blow this bed up and she would just sleep on that. Like, there was one trip where I had this, it was like a bed that the baby would nestle in, and I could put it in the bed with me, and I'd just put her in it.
Like a cocoon kind of thing.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yes.
Because it's soft and easy to pack.
Yeah, and that was great. So we took that with us.
Yeah, could you use that little thing in the bassinet on the plane?
Yes, I think I did. Yes.
You could probably put that in there.
Yeah. We had all sorts of gadgets for travel. I remember having those things that you blow up and put on the floor in front of their seats, and it turns the whole area into a bed. I forget.
Yes, the cushions, the plane pals. Do you remember how those flights went?
I remember as soon as they become toddlers and walking, it was a nightmare. I flew to the Bahamas with Max when he was 3. So I think someone looked after Lulu, friends of ours. Yeah, because Josie, my bestie, her mum has a place in the Bahamas, and we flew through LA. So I took Max by myself, and he was 3. And I remember it was the hardest trip, because I got Giardia, somewhere along the way. I actually landed in LA. And I've got...
From water?
Yeah, and I think it was from swimming in the water at Balmoral, because we were living in Mossman at the time. And I remember landing in LA with Max after a 20-hour flight or whatever it was, and feeling so sick. And that was the start of the trip. And then we went to the Bahamas, and I just went downhill. I was literally in the room of my friend's house just all day, just green. They took me to the hospital. They didn't know what, they ran all these tests. They had no idea what it was. We were supposed to go, Davo and I, he was at a pet conference in Texas or somewhere, and that's why we flew over. I was like, I'll fly to the Bahamas, hang out with Josie. I'll do some stories in LA, I did all these beauty stories in LA. So again, I had to find a nanny. I was determined to keep traveling. So I took Max with me, and, he had a nanny, and I went out to do all my stories, and then flew down through Fort Worth, Texas, down to the Bahamas, and still sick. And then I said to Damo, we were meant to be going around Yosemite and around California, and I called him and I was like, I think I'm going to have to go home. But I had to work at a pet conference for him for one day before, because I was going to help him on the stand. Yeah,
while you were sick.
Yeah, so I was like a promo girl at his pet conference. In Texas somewhere. I can't even remember. No, it was in Florida. Sorry. We flew through Florida. So I took Max, and he was they had a babysitting service for the people at the conference. So we put Max in there. I worked like a day or two at that bloody pet conference and then flew home early and was then they diagnosed me. They were like, it was Giardia and I was sick. They just put me on antibiotics, but yeah, the whole trip was ruined. It was awful. So yeah, the perils of travel, right?
My goodness. The things you'll do, you were determined to keep that up. I mean, this is probably why your immune system was low and you contracted Giardia, which most people, you don't hear. That's not very common.
But in Sydney.
And well, I think I got it 2 years ago swimming at Dawn Fraser Baths in Sydney. So on the Balmain side.
Okay.
And after we went there, because usually they tell you if the water quality is clean or not, and it said yes. And then a few weeks later, it was in the paper that the water quality was not
And
good.
did you get Giardia? Was it Giardia?
I don't know what it was,
Something,
but I was
you were
sick,
so sick
for about a month. Like it took so long to get better. But I actually had like sinus infection and everything, but the sinus was the worst bit. And I asked a doctor, like, can that happen from swimming in this? Well, she was, yes. If you water goes up your nose, yes, absolutely. They think it's from dog poo in the harbour. So if anyone's listening from overseas, be careful when you come to Sydney.
I know, because we're always swimming. If you go on the harbour on a boat or something, you jump off and you have a swim and you don't think about how revolting that water is. So I just remember the flight home when I was so sick at the worst, like flying back from Florida, and I put Max in. I had a photo of him sleeping, those luggage trolleys?
Yeah.
I somehow managed to get him into the part where you put your handbag, and he was curled up in like the luggage trolley, like sleeping. I don't know what I did for padding, but he was like, and I remember there were so many nice strangers that helped me on that trip. Like, when he would run away, like men would run after him and bring him back, and they would just see this woman near close to tears, like staggering through the airport with a suitcase and a 3-year-old just on
People are very helpful
they
when you fly, I've noticed.
Most people.
We have a lot of anxiety about that. Everyone's nervous their kid's going to embarrass them by crying and being a baby, because that's what babies do. But I noticed when I was by myself flying, people would run up and see that you need this, you need that. They want to help. They want to hold the baby.
The best part of humanity, isn't it? Like you just see people being absolute legends and you're like, thank you.
That is nice. There's hope. There
is hope.
So your kids have done a lot of traveling
But before they remember it, that's the sad thing. Like Max doesn't really remember the Bahamas. He kind of remembers Spain a little bit, like Ibiza. But yeah, when we got home and then we bought a house and then, now there's no money to do these extravagant.
Yes,
and the cost of flights are absurd. So our travel has sort of been limited to, much closer to home now.
But it forces you to explore your own backyard. I kind of thought about that after I had a child. I'm going to start doing more of Australia. Yeah. And we're off to South Australia soon. Now, I've been there, but my daughter's excited to go. She wants to go.
It's beautiful, and that's so lovely that she likes travel. I've got one kid that loves traveling, Lulu, but Max does not like it at all. So every holiday comes around and we're like, he's just a homebody. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He wants to be with his mates now. He's a teenager. Just not interested. So we occasionally will drag him to like the Gold Coast or, the Central Coast or up to Newcastle area, like beautiful spots. But yeah, he's very reluctant to go away. Yeah.
What is it do you think he doesn't like about traveling?
I don't know. I think it's just being out of his routine. I think.
It's not flying though. He's not scared of flying.
No, there's nothing like that. It's just he's just a creature of habit.
Well, sometimes my daughter does just want to be at home. We were in New Zealand over Christmas, over January, I mean, and the first night she didn't like her bed and she's like, I want to be in my own bed. Can we just go home?
Yeah.
No.
No. How about what we've organised here? I mean, we kind of idealise travel, don't we? I thought my big thing was I want to, I want my kids to be traveling and be cultured and be exposed to all this stuff. But then when they don't turn out like that, and you have to think, wow, okay, well, I guess it's that's my dream, not your dream.
Yes, we do it for ourselves a lot. I also think that when people say, they don't remember it, they're not going to know that you're in another country. They don't care that you're in Paris. But it's okay for you to make memories.
Exactly.
Also, in the moment,
true.
They're enjoying it. And why not have this exciting life over there rather than sitting at home doing the same thing every day?
I agree.
That's how I feel. And that's kind of why I have the podcast.
I love
it. But also
it.
to make it fun for kids. Yeah.
I love it. I think it's such a great idea.
Now, when you were traveling to all these incredible places with babies in tow, were you still able to keep up your 100 plus step beauty routines? Because I've seen them on Instagram and you've got a lot of steps in there, Sigourney.
Do I? Oh, yeah. I mean, it's probably...
Love it though. I mean, that's what we're watching for.
No, you pare it back. I'm a big fan of mini everything. You know, obviously you don't take big sizes. And when you're cutting a pram and, you know, a snoo or whatever the hell that thing was called, you know, you've got to like make sure that everything fits. But I do get quite minimal. I remember back then when the babies were little, I was doing lash extensions because that was just like what's one thing that made me feel like done without needing to do a whole face of makeup.
I've got them on now.
Oh, do you? They look fab. Yeah. It just makes you, they are such a great like little hack. And what else did I do? Yeah, I was pretty minimal on the road. Just a, you know, good cleanser, a really good moisturizer. Like Weleda Skin Food. It's cheap. It's beautiful.
I love that.
Smells amazing. Lanolips, like just little things like that hydrate you on the go are so good.
So good. And I've got both of those things. I love Lanolips 101. Is it called 101?
101 on the lips, on the cuticles, on little scuffs on the kids. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. Sometimes I even put it under my eye at night.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, well, it's...
I don't know if it does anything.
Well, it would, yeah. It
stops
the moisture from escaping because it's occlusive. So, yeah.
I'm getting old. I need whatever I can get my hands on.
And lanolin is one of the greatest. Like my mum grew up on a sheep farm, so they used to rub the wool on their cuts and like grazes and stuff. So when I grew up, she used to get like the purified lanolin in a pot from the chemist, and it was yellow and stank. And so when Kirsten Carriol, who is the founder of Lanolips, and I knew her. She was a beauty PR, actually, when I started out in beauty editing. She had a PR company called Buzz PR, and she launched it. And I was like, hallelujah, someone has purified and cleaned lanolin and made it smell. I don't think it has a fragrance. She's done one since, but back then I was like, thank God, a nice little tube of lanolin. I'm not going to have to like use my mum's like sticky pots of that crap anymore. Like it's now, so it is a genuine, like great product for everything. And the sheep farmers knew it all along.
But the great thing about it is you can use it on yourself and your kids.
Yeah.
So perfect for traveling. So you said before your son doesn't really like traveling much anymore.
Yes.
And you kind of stick to local trips. What does travel look like now that you have 2 children?
Yeah. I mean, I still do a lot of travel for BeautiKate. So we have our travel section and
you sure do. Gosh, there's some good places on there.
Yeah, we do a lot of wellness and I mean, I still go and do little trips here and there. Like I went to Kerala in India recently and did an Ayurvedic trip. Yeah, so that was a really amazing trip. It was short. I took Mum actually, which was really cool. And yeah, that was the home of Ayurveda, where Ayurveda was first, you know, where they started Ayurvedic hospitals. And I went into a very like rustic Ayurvedic, hospital retreat basically. So that was fascinating. But usually you go and do a panchakarma, which I think is around at least like 3 weeks or so. So I had to do it in 2 days. So you get, as you would know, as Sydney Weekender, like you know that when you're doing travel as a reporter, you just get a taste of it. You have to go in, you have to film the thing, you have to make it look like you experienced it, but you didn't really. And it's lovely.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
It's like
and you get a taster and you think you'll go back, but then there's so many places to go. You're like, well, I've already done that. You could try somewhere new.
So,
I know what it's like.
You do. But I mean, we're so lucky to at least see it and smell it and taste it and, you know, be there. But it's an abridged, shortened taster. Yeah, so travel now for me is the odd trip here and there, like, you know, the LA trip or, you know, going to do interviews for the podcast. Or like we took the kids up to Byron and Gold Coast and I did a bunch of interviews up there and we stayed, you know, in different, like we stayed at the JW Marriott and I've done the Mondrian separately. But, you know, there's some amazing hotels on the Gold Coast where you can really get that luxury experience.
Yeah, I've only just really started discovering the Gold Coast recently because my sister lives in the hinterland and we visit her on occasion. Or my daughter's best friend moved up there. And so she'll go visit her best friend and I'll stay at the Langham or something. And the Langham is so good.
The Langham's fabulous too. I haven't been there yet, but I've met the PRs. I was like, this place looks amazing, so I have to try that.
Really good for kids as well. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like a luxury travel for the whole family. They have a kids room that when I went there, they said it's open 24 hours. You can just go in and the kids can play. It's like a little ballroom, a soft play. More
Fab.
like preschool and under probably.
Yeah, little ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and the pool's very safe. It's kind of like one of those lagoon beach pools, which I think
Yes.
they do have in other areas. But for
Yeah.
me, I don't like the cold and it's heated year round.
Oh, heaven.
So we were there in July and it was so inviting. Oh, like a bath.
Yeah, that was like the JW Marriott. Yeah, and they have water slides, and then they have those. There's like a snorkeling area, so you can get one of these little like motorized things, and the kids hold onto it and takes them
What?
down,
Yeah.
and they can like explore with a snorkel.
In
And
the resort,
yeah,
in the
it's really
pool.
cool. Yeah. And they've got a good spa in the pool. Yeah, they've got like, it's like a man-made sort of rock
Yeah.
beach with sand, and it's all sort of, I think there's fish and stuff. So yeah, and then you can like snorkel there within the resort.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have to put that one down as a must visit. That sounds cool. Yeah, the Gold Coast is great. Do your kids, are they like you? Do they like a bit of luxury?
They do, but then at the same time, like we'll do an annual like trip to a caravan park with all our friends from school, you know, and the kids, and they love that too. So, I mean, Max is a bit iffy on that. He loves a buffet breakfast. They both love a buffet breakfast, you know, like what kid
I
doesn't?
love it.
The highlight of a trip.
The highlight. That was, I remember like as a kid, me having a buffet breakfast at the Novotel in Sydney going like, oh my God, telling everyone about it. And it was an international breakfast.
Everything. Yes. Yes. I think to them luxury is, buffet breakfast. If they get their own room, that's pretty exciting, which doesn't happen often. We stayed at the Sofitel Wentworth the other week with both the kids, and we just all bunked in together.
In Sydney.
Yeah, we have staycations occasionally. Because I was the spa ambassador for the Sofitel Darling Harbour when the spa opened up. So I had like a year of just staycations, you know, there to write about different parts of the spa, and that was really beautiful. The spa there's great. The club Millesime at Sofitel's is so good. They do like a gâteau. What's the French word? In the afternoon, it's like 4 p.m. and they do free like nibbles and cakes. So you can go in and they put on like a spread of like the most amazing French delicacies, and then at dinner they do free drinks as well. So the Sofitel Club is really good, and the Intercontinental Club, like they're both really good.
We recently did a staycation at the Sofitel, but I think it was the other one. It's very tall in Darling Harbour.
Yes, that was the one that I was the ambassador for. Yeah, sorry. We went to Wentworth last weekend or 2 weeks ago. But yes, the year before that was the one we're going to. It's fabulous, isn't it?
Yeah, we went to a high tea there, Claris in Paris high tea years ago.
Oh, I loved
and it was
that.
amazing.
Yeah, we did that too. Yeah.
Now, recently you went through a period of transformation in your life. Can you speak to that a little bit more and how it has affected the way you spend time with your family now?
Yeah, 100%. So about 2 years ago, I had a complete burnout, like a bit of a mental health crisis, just with parenting and hustling for 10 years on BeautiKate at that stage. And I just hit a wall, and I went and saw a psychologist, and he said that I had childhood trauma from my parents' messy breakup, and I didn't know. I was like, nah, that's not trauma. He's like, no, you need to go and see a psychologist, and you need to do some work, you know, to work through this. And I was like, that sounds expensive and hard, and I don't have the time. And he's like, well, you could consider a stay in a facility. And I was like, no, don't be ridiculous. Like, I'm turning up, I'm fine. I'm showing up for work. I'm on social media. I wasn't fine, but I hadn't hit rock bottom, or like, you know, I hadn't had a breakdown in the traditional sense of the word, but I was probably...
But you were probably on track for that.
Yeah, maybe. I was experiencing depression for the first time in my life. So I was anxiety and depression, burnout, definitely. And just, cortisol overload and everything. The thing was, I had a lot of health symptoms. So I was having chronic health issues. I'd been seeing every doctor, having every test. Everything was coming back. Like, there was nothing. I have arthritis, but there was nothing that they could find specifically wrong with my gut. I've since had my gallbladder out in the hope to fix the problems, but that's sort of helped kind of, but not really. Anyway, I think it was also perimenopause. It was everything, right? So I just...
it's so hard, isn't it?
Yeah. And so I looked into this place. My psychologist had worked at a place called South Pacific Private. It's a rehab centre for mental health stuff, so anxiety, depression, burnout, whatever. And I looked into it, and I asked lots of people, and I went on the website, and they their psychiatrist did an assessment of me. And it's a 3-week stay. I said to them, can I just come in? Because they do this trauma program called Changes that I'd researched. I was like, I really want to do this trauma program because I think it's time that I deal with the stuff from childhood before it affects my parenting. I don't want to pass this intergenerational trauma on to my children because that's what happens, right? Every generation passes it on. So I have to stop it here. I have to get my parenting, like I couldn't emotions coach the kids. That was the problem. Like I kept hearing parenting experts say, you need to like, whenever they would lose it, I would kind of lose it rather than like sitting in the space and holding space for them and being calm. And I was like, what the f is wrong with me? Like, why can't I be this person that I want to be? So that was when I was like, I need to do something drastic and, don't do things in halves. And so I had the assessment with a psychiatrist and he's like, Sigourney, he said, I know you don't think that you need this. Because I was like, I'll get laughed out of there. If I'm in there with, like ice addicts and people who are absolute rock bottom, they're going to laugh at me and say, your life's, not that bad. And my problems aren't that serious. And he said, well, for starters, the group therapy that they do is so powerful because it validates everything that you're feeling. So you can go to a psychologist and you can sit one-on-one and yes, they can help you work through your problems. But something about group therapy is so powerful because you've got a community. They reflect back to you what they're hearing. So in the group, they say, you feel their emotion and it validates everything. So he said, if there's some way that you can do this and take 3 weeks out, it'll change your life.
So you were about to go on a trip of a different kind?
That's right. Well, I sort of thought of it. I was like, this is a mental health retreat. I'm going to call this my mental health retreat. And my private health covered the whole thing. It was like a $17,000 stay for 3 weeks. And there's this thing called the mental health waiver that you can use once in your lifetime. So you don't have to do the waiting period that you would normally do. So I upgraded my health cover to gold and then I used the waiver and I went straight in. So once I decided to do it, like I asked a lot of friends, I had a few counsellor friends. I was like, am I abandoning my children by doing this? And they're like, no, you have to fit your own oxygen mask, like you
hear that all the time, don't you? And I'm still asking like, but how? I just can't do that.
I know. And so I went in there and I cried for the first 2 days. I actually had the episode 2 and 3 of my podcast is all about this whole experience. And it's, and then I wrote an article for Marie Claire and I wrote lots of articles about it, but it was absolutely incredible experience. Like I felt such an incredible community there. They embraced me. They like held me. I felt like the people that were in my group. So you have like a small group that's like your group therapy group. And I met the most amazing people. And it was just, life-changing. It was. So when I came out and I was like, I want to do something that helps women who felt like me.
Yes.
So the podcast Beautiful Inside is all about sitting down with, high achieving people or people that we're fascinated by and having those hard conversations. Like what was your moment of burnout? What were the tough moments and how did you pull yourself out of them? And how do you continue healing day to day? And how do you, what wellness things do you do to keep yourself in check? So so that's and creating a safe space and a validation. So women go, oh my God, it's not just me that feels like this. And that's why I shared my story. That's why.
So how has this change affected how you spend time with your family?
So it's changed everything. I have been so much more patient. I still have bad days and I notice that, when my stress levels rise, I'm more reactive, but their anger and their emotions don't affect me like they did. Yeah, just wanting to be around them as much as possible and have a quiet life. Like we moved up to the northern beaches. So we were living, in Paddington, right in the center of everything. And I felt like everything was so noisy. And so like I'd see every PR that I knew at the shops and I wanted to just retreat. So actually when COVID hit, we moved north. We went to Forestville and we had the most beautiful little rental, like a house there with the most amazing community. And then we moved up here and it's like, it's just beautiful. We're almost as far as Palm Beach. Like you drive up the Way Coast Parkway and just everything just slips away. Like it's like, you just feel there's just so much nature around. And it was the best thing we ever did.
Yeah, it's a beautiful part of Sydney.
Great for the soul.
Well, it's been scientifically proven that nature can calm you down, bring you back down to earth, huh?
100%. Yeah, green spaces, blue spaces. Yeah, I always, when things get shitty and hard, just going for a walk is just, I do the coastal walks around here. And we've started walk and talk. So we've got a little community walk that I'm doing with
I've seen that on your Instagram. Yes. It's a bit far for me. For those who don't know Sydney very well, we do get a little bit territorial, don't we? Like if you're from the eastern suburbs, you rarely move to the northern beaches. And the inner west, whoa, we just don't like venturing away from all our cool cafes and
absolutely.
restaurants.
And if you go, it's like, take your passport. If you've got to go across the bridge, there's always that like funny thing. But I think once you're settled in your neighborhood, like I try not to go to the city. Like I'll go to a bit, like, there's so many beauty events and things, but I need to stay up here for my mental health.
Palm Beach, the northern beaches, stunning part of Sydney. Anyone visiting, I always recommend head out to the lighthouse, walk up to the top. It's not difficult. You can do it with little kids.
Yes, it's beautiful up there, isn't it? Yeah, and you've got, Avalon and we're right near Narrabeen, so we're like just near Narrabeen Lake, and it's just gorgeous. Yeah. You feel like you're on holidays, just living here.
So has that affected the way you travel now? Do you prefer to get out in nature more for your trips?
100%, yeah. I'll go to cities if I need to, but I'm generally we went to the Japan and we went skiing in Madarao and Nozawa Onsen, and that was amazing. And we spent a couple of days in Tokyo. Like it's great to dip in and out and show the kids different places, but yeah, for me and my soul, like I don't think I could ever live away from the beach or somewhere with a lot of nature walks or anything anymore. Like it's just, it's definitely part of, the wellness side of things as well. Just, knowing what helps mentally and being able to get out into nature. We're extremely lucky in Australia, like having these things on our doorstep.
What about your kids? Max doesn't like to travel, but if he was to choose a location, what would be his number one place to go?
I think they're curious and keen to go to like Bali or Thailand or like they've never been to Bali. I know a lot of people have.
I haven't either.
You haven't?
I haven't.
I have for work.
Yeah.
I can't believe you haven't with your work. But
I know, right?
Yeah.
And I just did another interview with Bianca from Travel with My 3 Kids. She runs an Instagram page and she's obsessed with Bali and she's tried to convince me. So I am very close.
Oh, you'll go. Yeah, we'll go too. We will. So that's definitely. But we went to Vietnam, Damo and I. We weren't able to take the kids, but we went to Phu Quoc, and it was amazing. It's like the Vietnamese. Have you been there?
No, but I saw the article.
Yes, that was beautiful.
You want to take the kids to Vietnam?
Yes, I'd love to do Vietnam or Thailand, like anywhere in Asia, Southeast Asia. Max is keen on shopping, like he loves his fashion. So when we were he wants to go back to Tokyo and do all the sneaker shopping and like the secondhand vintage, like the secondhand designer shopping. And he'd probably love to do the markets and stuff in Asia. So yeah, he's up for that. We will get a trip in at some point. And they loved Fiji. We went to Nanuku.
Is that an island?
It's on the Coral Coast. And it's a resort called Nanuku, and they basically give every family a nanny, or like every child a nanny. So the nanny comes with you everywhere.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's luxury.
Does that stop at a certain age?
Yeah, I think so. Probably 10 or 12 or something. But yeah, they like for the boys, they'll take them surfing, or they'll sit with your little ones in the pool, so you can literally just switch off. It was amazing.
That's another place I haven't been with my daughter, but I've been before children because my partner was working there on a reality love show, Beauty and the Geek, maybe.
Oh, I loved that show.
And so I was there by myself, it's a bit of a weird place to go by yourself because it's full of families and honeymooners. And so I'm there while he's working by myself, but I still enjoyed it.
I know, and you're sitting there going, oh, look at this view, no one to share it with. Look at this hotel room. I've had so many trips like that too, and you're like, I love it, and you take a photo and you're like, okay, what do I do now? Read a book.
Yep. Although after children, traveling by yourself is kind of
fabulous. Yeah. But pre-children, you have no idea what the alternative is. So you're like, I wish I had someone. But now it's like, minibar. No, not minibar. Room service, you're like, yeah.
Yep. A sleep-in will do me.
Yeah, just one big bed. Yeah.
Let's move on to your favourites, if we haven't touched on them yet. Where is your favourite place to travel with your kids in Australia?
Oh, I mean, the south coast of New South Wales is so amazing. Like down near Bateman's Bay, we've been down to Bendalong Beach. There's like this, there's a we actually stayed in a amazing holiday park there, and they have a stingray beach. Like the stingrays come and feed. You can feed the stingrays.
Yes, I've heard about that, but I haven't been there.
That's really awesome. We stayed at this cute little motel called the Isla down in Bateman's Bay, and it's so retro and cool. And we had like the suite with like this cool outdoor pool. We had Mother's Day there, and we went to the zoo there.
Is that Mogo Zoo?
Mogo, yeah. So I love the South Coast. I mean, it's so beautiful, and there's cool little restaurants.
It is, and it's so green. It's always so green down there. I don't know how they do it. Very lush.
Yeah.
Okay, what about your favourite overseas destination with your family? Where has that been?
Love to take them to Greece because Damo and I went, we went boating around Greece. So that would be the dream, but that we've been together probably, or Italy. I'd love to go to Italy, but probably the ones with the kids. Japan was pretty amazing for the skiing. I'm not a big skier, but that was just such a great holiday. It was affordable. The culture, the food. Yeah, I think Japan is just wonderful, and Fiji. Japan and Fiji are probably, because Fiji's so family friendly. It's safe. You don't get the kind of. It's not people like. There's not as many motorbikes and it's not as intense as Southeast Asia. And it's close. So yeah, Fiji and Japan are definitely my votes for family.
What about favourite mum-only escape when you want to reset?
Oh, Alba down on the Mornington Peninsula was fabulous. Go there with a girlfriend. I just went recently with Jade, who I work with on BeautiKate, and we did stay there. And they have these new villas and it's all geometrically beautifully designed. It reminds me of Thurnval in Switzerland, where we went when I was in my 20s, and it's very brutalist architecture, very clean lines, minimalist, all the geometric shapes and concrete, and just a series of thermal baths and pools. And then there's the most insane spa. They do the Vanessa Megan gold facial, and they finish with champagne and caviar, and it's super luxe.
What's the name of it again?
Alba, ALBA.
Alba. I have heard of this actually, because there's a few dotted around the Mornington, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, the Peninsula Hot Springs is across the road, and that's great for hens parties, and it's a bit more relaxed, and it's a bit more of a party atmosphere. You can go with friends, but you can, Jade and I had a glass of champagne. We had a beautiful glass of Verve, and we went around to all the pools, and it was very it's just more that the luxury high end. You're not waiting to get in line to get into a pool or anything. It's very they cap the amount of people that can go in there, and and the spa was amazing.
I'm guessing it's strictly no children.
No, no children. I didn't see any children. I mean,
no children. No, they get bored in a place like that anyway.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's probably my favorite. Yeah, or somewhere like Gwingana, go and do a health retreat, or Eden, or one of those. I haven't done Eden, but I've done Gwingana, and that was phenomenal. I've done it multiple times over the years, because that's if you don't want to go to SPP and do 3 weeks in the mental health retreat that I did, go and just do a retreat, a health retreat like Gwingana, because it's.
Bet your health insurance doesn't cover that one.
That's the downside. Yeah. You can't get the hack that I had, but you see so many people recovering from major life issues and stuff there, and it's so you can have massive life shifts and changes from a health and mental health perspective in a retreat.
Now, I have to ask you, since you are a beauty editor, what are your must-pack beauty essentials when you travel for you and kids?
Well, as I mentioned before, Lanolips and Weleda Skin Food. I like Bioderma Sensi Bio, it's a micellar water, the original. I mean, I'm very cosmeceutical focused, so I'll have a vitamin A, a vitamin C, a vitamin B, niacinamide. So I just have to get minis of whatever I'm using at the moment. So I'm using Rationale at the moment, just having smaller, they've got a travel kit. For the kids, having a balm, Lanolips. Oh, there's a cute range I just got sent called Outdoorish, and it's all natural mosquito-repelling outdoor products. Really clever that I like. They've got a body oil that's got, repelling things in it, and a balm, and just obviously good sunscreen. Oh, you've got to have great sunscreens.
Yeah, what's your favourite sunscreen?
I mean, it depends on if you're into physical or chemical. The kids, to be honest, they want something light and easy. So often we'll just use like a La Roche-Posay, or even some of those fun things like the mousses that you get. I think Quick Screen does a mousse.
I haven't seen
the
that
Feel
one.
Good Ink ones, they're really nice and light. Just something that's really light and spreadable. But then there's some really good, there are some good physical ones, but they're just a bit more like, they're a bit more exclusive. Simca is a really nice one. That's an Australian brand.
La Roche-Posay, that's a good one, isn't it? I haven't heard one bad thing about it.
Affordable, so good. And I think they've got a wet skin one that you can apply over wet skin. So when the kids come out of the water, you can just put it straight on them.
Yeah, I saw what that means. I didn't realize. I thought it just meant for swimming.
Yeah, no, you can put it on.
You can put it on wet skin.
Yeah, I think so.
That's great. That's a game changer. Now it's time for a new segment called Kids Corner. It's where the mini travellers get to ask the questions. Some big, some small, and some a little bit quirky.
Hi, Sigourney. What is the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you while traveling with your kids?
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So I remember in Ibiza with Lulu, and she was like tiny, and she ended up like wetting herself, and we ended up just taking we had no spare clothes, and we ended up just taking all her clothes off and wheeling her around in her pram nude. And I just remember like Max just being absolutely mortified because he was 5 or something. And I was like, no one cares. She's just a little girl. Like, no one cares. And, because the belt and stuff covered everything up. So she was mostly covered. But, yeah, he was mortified that she was nude.
Oh.
And I was like, well, what are we going to do? Like, we've got no pants. Somehow we just had forgotten a spare cap. I'm not the most super organised mum. And I'm blaming my ADD. But, like, snacks and suitcases. And it's like, what's your favourite snack to pack? I'm like, I generally like forget snacks and have to buy something, or forget water, or forget a pair of pants, I'm just very disorganized. I'm organized in work, but disorganized in motherhood mostly.
Your daughter would have fit in with all the other people on the island, wouldn't she? The Mediterranean, my gosh, the amount of women over 60 I saw without a top on.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone was nude. Exactly. All the women are topless, so
they wouldn't blink an eye. Okay, well, this is my Fast Five with some of those curly questions. Are you ready for them? Okay, here we go. Window or aisle seat, which do you prefer?
100% aisle seat. I mean, I'm a toilet visitor, like as a woman, up and down, and the kids. If you've got kids with you, oh my God, yeah, you've got to have the aisle.
Finish this sentence. I never travel without...
Headphones, earphones. You need... Yeah. Well, maybe an eye mask. Oh, God.
First thing you do when you arrive at your destination.
Depends what time of day it is. If it's daytime, like going out for a walk just to kind of get the sunlight in, having some food, some local food. Like I just love immersing myself in whatever culture I'm in and getting bearings of where the hotel is in relation to the food, to the beach, whatever you are doing. If it's nighttime, yeah, like a bath, settling in if there's a bath. I'm always a big bath taker. I'm always like very sad if there's no bath in my room.
I phoned ahead for a bath.
Smart.
If money was no object, where would you go?
The Seychelles, the Maldives. I'd go back to the Bahamas and not be sick this time. South America, just like very far-flung, hard to get to places because, they're quite far from Australia.
Yeah. I'm getting the sense you like a bit of a tropical holiday.
Yes, 100%. I'm all about the summer, and I'm not a big cold weather person or a big city person by that standard as well. It's just nature. Okay, and this is the big one, Sigourney. I know you're thinking about this, but finally, what snacks do you pack in your suitcase, if any? Not many. I'm not organised. I'm always like running around packing at the last minute, and that's the thing I forget. I mean, maybe some nuts occasionally if I've ever thought about it. Mum got me in on the last trip to LA to take porridge for our breakfasts with like nuts, and that was good. But yeah, in terms of kids snacks, if I remember to throw a few bags of whatever we've got in the cupboard, popcorn or whatever in, then we're lucky. But most of the time we're just having to buy food on the go because I'm disorganised.
Well, I think we need to work on your snack game.
I think so. I'd love that. Thank you.
Quickly, where can we find you?
On BeautiKate, so BeautiKate, BeautiCate.com, and we have Beautiful Inside podcast, which is on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, all the places, and just Sigourney Cantelo on Instagram. We're launching something new on the website, which is so exciting. It's a retail sort of concept, and it will have a travel component. So yeah, it's super exciting. So if you follow along now, you'll be first to know about everything on my socials, and we'll go bananas launching it. So there's a lot of exciting stuff about to happen, and I can't talk about it, and it's killing me, but yeah, it's so fun.
Well, thank you so much, Sigourney. I know you've got to run. Take a look at BeautiKate.com, especially if you love a little luxury travel, wellness, and practical beauty tips like I do. It's equal parts aspirational escape and genuinely useful advice. I also think so many parents, especially us mums, will relate to parts of Sigourney's mental health journey, maybe not in the exact same way, but I do think you hit a point in your 40s when you realise you've been spending years filling everyone else's cup but your own. And this episode was an important reminder that even someone working in beauty and wellness, travelling the world and seemingly having it all, can still be struggling with crippling anxiety underneath. Sigourney's experience at South Pacific Private became a turning point for her, so I'll pop a link in the show notes if you would like to learn more. More than anything, this chat was a beautiful reminder that travel changes with every season of life. What feels luxurious in your 20s can look completely different once kids arrive. You can find Sigourney at BeautiKate.com and listen to her podcast, Beautiful Insight. In fact, she recently interviewed parenting expert Dr. Shafali, and I'm going to click play on that straight after this. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow Snacks and Suitcases for the next one and leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Let me know what you think. Until next time, happy travels.
And don't forget the snack.